Really good. You want to use that first week to kind of build yourself up to them actually getting some live work, and that's with the whole acclimatization period, that's what that's all about. Getting 2 days and just helmets, and then 2 days getting used to their shoulder pads, and then a day getting used to their full gear. So that all leads into, okay, let's try to see if we can play what looks like real football. And we ended that today with the last little team segment of going green tempo, which for us is live. For just a few plays, just to see how they can handle that adversity, and thought they did a real good job. It's obviously was a different process, without having spring ball and having that foundation to have your feet on before you got started with all of this. So all those things considered, I think really the kids did a pretty good job.
One of the things that you were hired for was to help change some of the culture, and the biggest proponents have easily been the 3 core values. I mean, they're on the wall when you leave up to the locker room, and then first thing when you get to team huddle, is ask that question. Do you mind explaining what they are and what their significance is?
Yeah, tell the truth, be a gentleman, love your brother. It's that's our core values. That's what we stand down as a foundation as people. And telling the truth is really important. Trust is a big thing, and when you don't tell the truth, it's hard to trust. And if you don't have trust, you don't have a team. And it's just an emphasis for the guys that it's very important that I tell them the truth, and they tell me the truth. They tell each other the truth, and then on beyond football, they tell their professors the truth, and their parents, and the whole deal. And then being a gentleman is really twofold. It's a gentleman part. Want to be more concerned about another person's feelings than my own rights, and more concerned about another person's rights than my own feelings. That's part of being a gentle man. And then the man part of it is really 4-pronged. It's resisting passivity. We don't want to be passive individuals. It's accepting responsibility. We've been given things in this life, and we got to accept the responsibility that goes with them. In their case, been given a roster spot or a scholarship, and they got to accept the responsibility that goes with that, which is going to class and going to tutoring and coming to practice and going to weights and going to the training room. And then it's about leading courageously, and it's about working for a greater reward, which is about making the right choices. And then love your brother is accept, protect, and serve. Loving your brother is about accepting them. We got a lot of different guys here, different races, different religions, different likes and dislikes, different cultures, different music, different ways to dress, and we got to excel at showing respect, for our brother. We got to accept him. We got to protect him in word and deed. Whatever we do affects our brother, and then we got to serve him, and that's just doing random acts of kindness and thinking of my brother instead of thinking of myself, and help hold him accountable to doing things right. So that's something that we flesh out for them, pretty much on a daily basis, because it's something that they can take away with them for the rest of life. I mean, that's they're learning it in the platform of football, but that's something that's going to help them be a good dad and a good neighbor and a good husband, a good leader in their community, down the road.
This was the first week that you were able to get a full look of your 2020 signing class, as well as some of the transfers that you got. How well did you think they fit into the mold of the team, the guys that were already here?
Really good. I mean, today will be a big one to watch the film and kind of do a little more evaluating, because it was more like real live, stuff. But walking off the field, in between meetings with the coaches, there's been a lot of comments of, what, that class we threw together in a hurry really has some pretty good players in it, and the big thing was, and all good kids. That's the thing with the way that we recruit character, academics, and football. With character being number one, we never want to miss on that. Want to make sure that we get a good human being and then develop him to be an even better. And that's been the comment, from the coaches, is these are all good kids, good hardworking kids, tough kids that like football. They like their teammates. They're doing right. They're at the meetings. They're on time. They're paying attention. And talent-wise, they got some talent. So they're young, but feel like we, did a good job in that area.
Although you've been kind of coaching, ever since, this is the first time you've actually stepped on the field as a head coach in almost 5 years, or well over 5 years. How did it feel just kind of step back on the field in that same role once again?
Yeah, that it's kind of like riding a bike. I didn't really even think about it. It just kind of was easy, was smooth. The part that wasn't easy or smooth was the 8 years of grinding as a head coach and learning, and then getting that all down in a playbook and saying, okay, here's the manual, here's the map, here's the way that you do it, and then Corona hits, and 3/4 of that you can throw in the garbage, So, the culture part, the building men, all that other stuff stayed, but the kind of the way you had to go about things, the schedules and all that stuff is, it's in the trash. What we normally do in an hour and a half in the afternoons, you practice, and then in the afternoons one group, lifts or stretches or conditions or whatever they're going to do, and the other group watches the film of the practice. That takes 45 minutes, and you flip those groups, it takes an hour and a half. That hour and a half now takes us 4 hours because of the space, and only can have 16 guys in the weight room, and got to have space within the meeting room, and that's really, really different.
As you move into week 2 of fall camp, what's going to be the goals for this coming week?
Just to progress, not only don't get ahead of ourselves, because I think guys are feeling pretty good about where we are, all things considered. I think the big thing in week 2 is don't get ahead of yourself saying, wow, they handled this, let's throw a whole bunch more stuff on them schematically and lose in the area of fundamentals. The big thing is going to be for the coaches to reel them back in and say, hey, let's just keep getting better at fundamentals. Let's just keep polishing what we already have. And if we do put something new in, let it be really, really small.